Welcome, space explorer. Pull on the star to begin your journey. That will take you from the Earth
Liftoff of Artemis 1
to the International Space Station
The plants need water every 3 days.
and even the Moon.
I'm on your Explorer head.
Suit data looks good. Enjoy the view.
Collect space artifacts and interact with them in your home. Space Explorer's Ultimate Edition, now on MetaQuest. Welcome to the Space Explorer's holographic theatre. Here, you will travel between worlds to discover immersive wonders and relive important milestones in the history of human space exploration. But before you begin your journey, I will share with you some instructions to facilitate your experience. Your journey will take you from the Earth to the International Space Station and all the way to the Moon. You will have the ability to navigate to any of these worlds, as well as interact with other entities such as stars and luminous spheres, which will immerse you into holographic projections. Allow me to demonstrate how to interact with all of these entities. Simply direct your gaze to highlight the entity of your choice. Then raise your hand and reach out. Close your hand and pull towards you. It's that simple. I now invite you to try it for yourself. Direct your gaze towards the light. Close your hand. Now pull towards you. Great. Now that you know how to navigate forward, allow me to demonstrate how to go backwards. Raise both hands, palms facing outwards, and push. Try it for yourself. Raise both hands, palms opened. Push away from you. You now master the essentials to navigate the holographic theatre. Pull on the star to begin your journey.
counting down the liftoff of Orion on its space voyage to the Moon.
On the UIA, switch power EV1 to off OFS.
When I was on the International Space Station a few years ago, I kind of paused during the spacewalk. I was holding on to the side of the space station, and I felt very connected to the Earth. And then I turned and I looked out into the rest of our solar system, and the moon seemed so far away.
You copy and verify that was 4 LEDs off.
And the rest of the solar system was just, it was enormous. And here I am, this little tiny human floating on the outside of the space station, holding on, and just understanding the vastness of it. And that was from 250 miles off the surface of the Earth. The moon is 250,000, right? And so it's a whole nother order of magnitude far away from the Earth. I remember thinking, wow, humans are going to step foot back on the moon. And maybe that could be me.
The weather is certainly go. It's a beautiful morning for a launch to the moon. We expect a temperature of about 85 degrees in the Kennedy Space Center area.
I first wanted to become an astronaut when I was 3 years old.
All engines running.
There was something inside of me that was really passionate about spaceflight.
Liftoff. We have the liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Tower clear.
There is not a documentary about Apollo landings that I haven't watched.
You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.
All these different people from all these different walks of life, they all remember where they were. They all remember sitting in their living room or watching a TV somewhere. It really transformed how human beings felt about our own planet, about themselves, their significance in the solar system.
The Apollo program was just massive, and there were so many people involved that it had a natural effect of bringing the country together and the planet together.
Apollo showed us that what we thought was impossible isn't. It showed us that the sky's no limit. That spirit carries on now here decades later, and we certainly hope that Artemis will be the one that takes it further.
We stand on the shoulders of giants. It's because of the lessons, the work that previous generations have done, have suffered through, have sacrificed for. It's why we have what we have today.
Launch Director, I proudly give you a go.
When I think of the Apollo program and the ISS generation and everything that's come to where we are today, I think of all the hopes and dreams of young boys and girls who were inspired to do something audacious that was impossible. And when you're able to plant the seeds of hope and dreaming in the next generation, great things happen.
On-time launch and everything is progressing nominally. Jessica, we've got about a 10-minute task that we would like your help with. We've got some procedure steps and details whenever you are able to support. Okay, copy.
I learned so much about space exploration in general by my almost 7 months on the International Space Station. Understanding what it's like to live in that world 24 hours a day. Everything, including you, floating around you, makes things much more difficult to deal with, even more than you might expect. So those kind of skills, that adaptability, those are exactly the same skills that we'll need when we go forward to explore the moon. Dealing with that kind of psychological separation is something that you experience on the space station.
Don't screw it up.
This translunar injection burn will begin to take it away from the Earth. Confirmation that the solid rocket boosters have separated just over 3 minutes into the flight of Artemis 1, now traveling over 83 miles downrange.
Artemis 1 is an uncrewed flight of the Orion and the SLS.
We have confirmation from the booster officer that we are at maximum thrust.
And then Artemis 2, we are going to crew with 4 astronauts. That spacecraft will take human beings farther from the surface of the Earth than we have ever been before. And then Artemis 3 will launch into a lunar orbit. We'll rendezvous with the Starship, which will already be in lunar orbit. And we'll transfer 2 astronauts into the Starship, and those 2 astronauts will land on the surface of the Moon.
We're shifting our focus to exploring again, to pushing the boundaries of what we've done before. Definitely in the next decade, we'd really like to see habitats on the moon where we can stay for longer missions. We'll have equipment that could support a month to 3 month long stay on the surface. Just the science opportunities, that's just super exciting to think about. And ultimately, we really see it as a proving ground for Mars. We really want to push further into the solar system than we've ever been.
Geology is, of course, one of the most important parts of the Artemis mission. We learned so much about the moon during Apollo, and now we have more modern technologies, a much better understanding based on what we learned from those rocks, and I'm very excited to see what we're going to learn from Artemis. Iceland is actually a great analog for the moon. It's made largely of basalt and volcanic rocks that are exactly the same kind of rocks that we see covering the moon. So getting to work in a terrain like that is really valuable for just getting those skills to be second nature.
Okay,
Oh, that's
wow.
a good sample.
That's a pretty big chunk that fell off. I'd say we got a maybe 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter.
That's nice.
Chunk of it. You can see it's really just circular on the inside.
The moon is kind of like a time capsule of Earth. But unlike Earth, there's not this biosphere, all of the trees and plants and animals and moving water. It changed the surface.
Drop this puppy.
And so it's telling us what was going on Earth billions of years ago.
When we train as astronauts, most of the things that we do are in simulators. So it's actually quite difficult psychologically to, as we say, train like you fly. So having some real risk involved makes these analogs a much more powerful training environment. It puts us in the right mindset.
We have a facility off the Florida Keys called NEMO, NASA Extreme Environment Mission Operations. It sits in about 40 feet of water underneath the ocean surface. We take crews down there to train anywhere from a week to several weeks at a time. The reason we train out there is because it offers an environment where you have school bus size interior cabin, of which 4 aquanauts and 2 safety divers are down there for these missions. And that's the only space you have. You gotta live, sleep, eat, breathe down there. It is a dangerous environment because you're underwater. And you can't just be out doing a scuba dive, have a problem, and just hold your breath and go to the surface because it'll kill you because you're so saturated staying at those depths.
One of the reasons why NEMO is a good analog for space flight is there is consequence to your actions. That's just the way it is. You cannot trick someone into believing that they're in an extreme environment if they're not. And we believe that's really the primary reason why that it's been a successful program, is because crew members and people that are working on the program know that this is not a simulation. This is real. And we have to follow procedures, and we have to work with mission control, and we have to think about safety all the time in everything that we do.
We need one top side. That hook comes through the pulley at the top and back to a handle. Loosen it with the winch. Top side. You know what copies.
For this mission, we are investigating the problem of taking crew resupplies on the moon and moving those to the pressurized rover that the crew will be living in and exploring in.
And if I needed, I think we could lift SPLC up over here. I'm imagining now if the EV hatch was closed, I think we could make an arrangement where I could get to Deborah.
The idea is that an unpeopled lander will land, and on top of it, it'll have some logistics carriers that have food and water and clothing and things like that to resupply the crew that's down there.
I'm going to do a reconfiguration here. So I'm moving one to the starboard side.
So all of that operation is what we're trying to figure out. What do we really need to build when we go to the moon so that we can do this very important operation to keep people going and living there on future missions?
There's nothing that can inspire the masses like putting a human in a location. Imagine if we flew a drone to the bottom of the ocean and took a picture. How fascinating would that be? It would answer questions, but it wouldn't give that human context to standing there and being there. Putting a human back on the moon gives us a context and a storytelling ability, and it is a feat to have a human being live in an environment that we were never designed or meant to live in.
He definitely was curious.
At the end of the day, we're trying to get our species off the planet and into the solar system. You're never going to do that if you only send robots. Robots won't always work the way they're supposed to work. Especially as we go to the moon, we go to Mars, there's physics involved. It takes time to get a signal from here to there and back, and things are going to go wrong. If it's a robot, maybe some programming mode doesn't work, maybe some tool doesn't deploy, and the robot's fundamentally limited by whatever its programming was. And yes, there's some neural network and AI and machine learning and things you can do to mitigate some of that stuff, but at the end of the day, only a human is uniquely is the only thing that can say, like, I know what the mission objectives are, I know what the intent of this was, and I can adapt and come up with a completely new solution to this problem, and doing it in a way that's technologically and emotionally smart.
We sometimes forget how valuable humans are at assessing a situation. We learned from the Apollo missions that the lunar module was capable of doing automated landings. However, in every instance of the 6 landings that we had, the crew took manual control and guided the spacecraft to the ground. Whether that was because of unexpected boulders or terrain, the crew did that in every case. So I think whether it's an automated landing or not, the humans need to be monitoring it and prepared to take manual control at any point.
FLI power still good, approaching 550 feet. Descent is 400 feet per minute. Alright, slow the rate. 500 feet.
The spacecraft that we're working with our partner SpaceX to develop is the Starship, and it's 50 meters tall, and so that is very different than landing anything most of us have ever landed before. Some of the systems will be automated. The crew still needs to monitor and know if that's going well. And so landing and approaches in a helicopter give you a new awareness and a new set of experiences to understand what type of things you may see. Really, the focus is the vertical takeoff and landing environment. I was training with the Army and flying helicopters up at high altitudes, but then coming down into the mountains and picking out a spot in a field that you're going to land at and seeing the way that your perspective changes and the way that the terrain around you changes and comes alive, and where you can see the spot you're going to land in. And then as you get close, the dust is blowing up, and all of those things were relevant to landing during the Apollo missions and likely will be for the Artemis missions. And so even if the system is automated, the crew still has to say, yes, it is safe to continue.
All right, there's 500 feet. 500 feet. All right. 80 minus 6. Clear on right, clear on left. We'll go. Power's good, rudder's good, heading looks great. All right, you're clear on the right, clear on the left, power's good. NFLI.
As we train the skills that we need for these landings, it's very obvious to mold through the brains and the eyes and the hands of two astronauts.
We are targeting the south pole of the moon for a couple different reasons. First of all, it's incredibly interesting scientifically because there are some of these permanently shadowed regions where we might have some volatiles that are present. Things like water and things like carbon dioxide, which we can study and understand more about all of these processes that have shaped the moon.
As you're translating along there, we would love a sample of that ashy material.
The other added bonus is you can use that very same water to help fuel your exploration, literally. We can extract that water, we can drink that water, we can use that water for protection against radiation, and we could even break apart that water into hydrogen and oxygen and use that for fuel to take that next step of going to Mars one day. At the south pole of the moon, the sun is only a few degrees above the horizon at all times. So we have these really long shadows that are cast across the surface all the time. So this makes it very difficult to see, to navigate, to judge distance and scale. And this was something that the Apollo astronauts talked about even on their landing sites, of how under these different lighting conditions, things changed drastically. And they may have been evaluating the slope of a crater, which they thought maybe was impassable. And in the end, in a different lighting condition, they saw that it was actually something they could easily walk down. So these types of shadows that are cast in the South Pole region are much more extreme.
Area is, I'd say, the most interesting region we've been yet. Can you do that for a second?
Oder aber wat haben dann? Habba sut. Oder aber wat haben dann? Du deppa, Hackathon. Bananas. Du deppa, wann dann? Habba sut. Habba Sprudel da.